What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another podcast. It's Paul and Ollie today, and I am the owner of M2 FICO Forge and also the owner of the Score Machine, co-owner. And I got Paul on with us today. Paul, introduce yourself. Tell everybody what you're about.
Hey guys, what's going on? So my name is Paul Graves. I go by Mr. 100K. Get you funded any day. That's right. That's what I go by. So yeah, you want to go ahead and want me to discuss a little bit about myself? All right, perfect. So I am a single father of six kids. I am in Ohio. I'm in Youngstown, Ohio. So anybody knows about Ohio or Youngstown area. This is the city that pretty rough, right? But I decided to take the information that I learned and take it to the next level. And here I am.
So unpack what you do. Unpack how you got to that next level. What did you do to separate yourself from the negative area that you've been in to more of a positive role to where you currently are, being that Mr. 100K? How did unpack that? How did that happen?
Oh gosh, it's I'm not gonna start at 18. I'm gonna start kind of when I started fixing my credit. So when I was 35, 34, 35 years of age, I tried to get a applied at a bank as assistant manager, and process went good. I'm at the final stage, and they said, "Hey, Paul, we want to hire you on the last step is we gotta check your credit." So I looked around like, what do you mean check my credit for a job? She said, yeah, so you're gonna be working at a bank. I said, okay. Um, Here I am now. Obviously, I didn't get the job because at that time I had a 560 credit score. So that was an awkward conversation with that bank, and they said, "Hey, I'm sorry, we can't hire you because of credit score." And I said, "You know what? I need to take my bad credit and go to the next level." So
Mm.
that's saying about 2 months later, I started, like I said, a 560, and then 4 months I went to a 717 credit score.
Wow.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
And I
So
never looked back since.
how did you walk us through a couple of the steps that you've taken to get to that 717? What did you do to get there?
Honestly, I was a YouTube warrior. I was YouTubing my my life away, all day, all night, trying to figure out how can I fix my credit and the fastest way and the legal way. Let's put it like that, because a lot of things on YouTube you can't believe everything. But I start off, fixing all my collections and all my late payments and all the inquiries that I had on my credit because before I couldn't honestly couldn't get an apartment, couldn't get a car. So I said, let's start at the basics because that's where we need to start with. So collections, charge-offs, late payments, and inquiries. And then next thing you know, things start falling off, things are starting to work. I said, wow, you know what? I can help other people as well do the same thing. So that's when I started my journey on credit repair and then my funding journey as well.
So when you started your credit repair company, you started because you were your own client first, or you
Mhm.
started in the sense because a couple of things fell off and you're like, you know what? I'm actually good at this. Let me keep doing it for other people. So because don't forget, we're talking to people that are in the same boat as we were.
Exactly.
And they're on the fence. So what is the thing that pushed you over from one side to the other?
It was both of those things that you said. So it was, hey, I'm that was pretty easy. You know, I know a lot of people have issues with credit, right? Or having issues figuring out credit and how it works. So what really pushed me over the edge is excuse me, sorry, fixing my own credit. And then what I did is I put this online. I said, the next three people that need their credit fixed, go ahead and DM me. I'm gonna do it for free. And then that's when I started to see other people credit getting fixed and now they're going to get a house or a car or get a loan, things like that, that makes people excited to get to the next level. So I said, let I can really do this now. If I can fix I fix myself, I fix three people credit for free. Now It's time to roll.
So you fixed three people's credit for free.
Yeah.
How did you get the business started? Like, how did you get into that business before, like, touch a base before funding is how did you get into the business? Like, getting into the business, did you hit a certain number that you wanted to get to? Did you set a goal for yourself in the
No,
business?
no, I just said, you know what? I know a lot of people in my community need it, right? Instead of keep on getting denied and denied and or going to buy here, pay here places, trying to level up, but they can't because they don't know the fundamentals. So all I did is was post it on social media. That's it. It was that easy and it was kind of crazy how many people needed credit repair that I would have never would have thought because of what they portray online. So that really, turned the light switch in my head and said, you know what? Let me help my community grow. So nothing too special. My story is literally basic. It just posted online and it took off from there.
But and that's some I'm gonna be honest with you. That's some of the stories that are in the entrepreneurial world of, hey, look, I found my purpose.
Hmm.
Let me go walk inside of my purpose, and all of a sudden, I take off. Um, and that's the key of what we're trying to explain is finding your purpose in money. And let me ask you a question, if you would be so kind to share. How much did you make from credit repair?
Honestly, um, I didn't make a lot. I would say what really did it for me was liquidation and funding, but we're going to go into that. But I would say my very first year, I probably only made about 40 to 50,000. It wasn't a lot because what I wanted to do is to help the community, right? So, hey, $100 a month, $50 a month. Some things that I did a special, like, hey, on Black Friday, I'm doing a special for $50 for the first month, certain things like that. So I can start my journey into the credit repair industry. But yeah, I always ran some type of special because I know a lot of people don't have it because credit repair is expensive. Sometimes you got to pay to play. So I didn't want that for the community. So I wanted to do something um, that's going to benefit and help people's pockets instead of pretty much having people go broke just to get their credit fixed.
So let me ask you a question about that. Now, people have software, people have I have the credit repair software, so
Mhm.
people have softwares, people have these things. How did you do it? Yeah, I know you said YouTube warrior,
Well,
but how did you do it? Were you doing a software? Were you doing certain methods? Did you send letters in? Unpack where you were.
yeah, so I was doing factual disputing. So if anybody knows
FCRA.
that, yes, it was trying to find everything on the credit report that matches or don't match, right? Staying up hours of the night trying to get people's credit reports done. Um, and then I said, this is tiring. Like this is for the birds, right? Until I ran into different softwares that can make my business a lot easier because I believe softwares is the key, right? AI is the key to get to the next level. So I finally found the software, which is M2. Also, I did consumer law as well.
Uh-huh.
So I combined those two to get a lot of things off even faster, right? Because the uh, the
Oh,
the way I was doing factory disputing is the right way, but it's the long boat to China. So
yes.
M2 and doing consumer law, those things together, things are coming off a lot quicker than it was before. So it did elevate once I put that in place, the AI, it did elevate, and things are people are saying, hey, I'm getting things off and getting people in and out 2 to 3 months. Now they're telling their friends, hey, I have this guy, Paul, that he fixed my credit 2 to 3 months. It was word of mouth. I never, even to this day, I never did any ads, nothing. It was all word of mouth.
Beautiful, 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 beautiful. So you use two methods at the same time or at different times?
Sometimes, so it could be 1 month, I might do consumer loan, nothing comes off, then I switch to M2. If M2 don't come off, let me switch back to consumer law. So back and forth, getting things, trying to get things off as quick as possible because people need things off fast. Let's just say like that, the legal way, not the illegal way. I got to put that out there. Always disclaimer.
I like that. I mean, we were talking about last night in class, and it was that same conversation as you don't do one method. You do
Hmm.
as many methods as you can until the job falls off. And that is exactly what we were talking about with the community that we're both in, and explaining that same method and that
Right.
methodology of there's multiple ways to skin a cat. And it's the same thing about credit repair. There's multiple ways to get through doing what needs to be done, and that method may be um actually just doing consumer law, doing FCRA, doing M2, doing whatever it needs to you need to do to get the job done.
That's right.
So I like how you brought that up, because anybody that's watching this has got to understand it's not one way is a right way. It's
Hmm.
the legal way is the right way, and doing everything in the parameters of the legal way is the way that we want to do it. So
That's right.
I love that. I really do love that. All right. I know people are in here because they want to hear you talk about how you're charging people $50 to $100. Let's unpack that beautiful thing that you said, which is my favorite thing, is liquidation. Let's start there. What is liquidation?
So it's I won't say it's a few things, but how I put it, liquidation is just getting uh money off of your credit cards into your checking account if you got to spend it on real estate or any other form of business that needs more cash friendly than more than credit cards. So that's how I put it. It's a more broad. I don't want to go into too much, but that's what it's pretty much liquidation.
Without telling us something that we have in the community, could you give a idea of how you would work a liquidation product
Uh,
without giving too much? Because people got to understand that there's going to be a load of questions that are going to come out, but giving an idea of what liquidation is exactly a good thing that we would want to bring to the community that's watching.
So I'm gonna tell you how I do it because some people that it's different methods out there, but this is how I do it. So very easy. I make the process very easy. You tell me how much you want to liquidate. I send you an invoice for the amount of the liquidation. You pay the invoice with your credit card, and then once you pay the invoice, it takes about 3 to 4 business days to process and go through my bank. Once it hits my bank account, I take my fee out of it and I send you the rest through, whichever wire transfer um, to whichever bank that you want to go through. Very quick and easy. But obviously, it is. I will put that out there. I always do a contract as well. So we both
You
have
were
contract. And
you knew where I was going
yes,
immediately. You
yes,
knew
yes, indeed.
exactly where I was going. For anybody that's listening, contracts are key when you're doing
Uh-huh.
this. ID, having a picture of the card, things like that is huge to hold your validity
Yes.
of what you're doing. And I really like that you just said that,
Mhm.
because a lot of people would be like, oh, I want to get into liquidation now, and it's not as easy as he said. It is easy, but it's not as easy as he said, and there's a lot that goes into it. That's why I said I don't want you to give too much, but at the
Mhm.
end of the day, that's there. If you guys want to learn how to do liquidations and you want to sit down and talk with Paul, Smart Hustlers Club, I'll include a link on YouTube. There'll be a link in the description below. Make sure you like and subscribe. Come over here, get that Smart Hustlers Club link. Join us in our community. Paul's in there. I'm in there. DeAndre, Dre the Dimer's in there. So we have a lot of people that are heavy hitters in the game that we deal with. So, that's my little CTA right now. But yeah, that's huge. That's really, really big in the sense of
So that's how that's how I got started. I was doing a lot of liquidation for a lot of funding companies, right? They partner because I think partnerships are key in any business. People talk about OPM, but for me, it's going to be OPA, other people audience, things like that to group together for a cause, right? So that's how I really took off and liquidation was doing with funding companies. So yeah.
um unpack something that he just said. OPA, other people's audience. That's collaboration over competition.
Oh all day.
That's what that is. That's saying I'm not going to compete with you in the same thing that you're doing. I'm not going to have everything over under one roof. I'm going to put it off to somebody else that I work directly with that can handle the same process, handle it at a level that they're going for, so we could do that. Let me ask you a question if you're willing to share.
Sure.
What's the most amount that you've ever made on a liquidation?
I will say 18,000 on a liquidation.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
On one person, not multiple people. One person. I did a 4 cards with this person, 4 cards, and it was American Express was the highest one out of all of them because what can we do with American Express, especially the gold and the platinum, right? Because kind of no limit. So yeah, 18,000 over 4 cards. Yep. Yeah.
That's crazy. That's crazy. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Um, I don't want to go too much more into liquidation. That's like a whole segment in itself that we
It
could do on
is.
another
It
time.
is. It is.
Um, let's talk about funding, man.
Oh,
Let's talk about funding. Let's talk about
okay. Okay.
how you sell money. And that's my line, taglined it.
Oh, there
Okay.
you
I
go.
sell I sell money. How do you sell money? How do you sell people money?
So I do. Should I give them an elevator pitch or should I just, because I won't say it's hard to sell money because guess what? Everybody needs it. I don't know who doesn't need money, especially if you run a business. I rather spend the bank's money instead of my own money. And you can definitely leverage more by having the bank's money instead of your own money. So if you only have 20,000 that you can liquidate that you have cash, but you can get $100,000 from the bank. Would you rather use the 20,000 or the 100,000? I'd take the 100,000 to scale my business to the next level any day of the week.
I'm I'm for it. So
Mhm.
in the sense of scaling and taking the bank's money, right? When you sell money, when we go to when we're talking to a client or you're talking to a client, what are downfalls that they have? What are things that they're gonna hit you back with? And I know a few of them myself, but what are you seeing out in the world? Why don't they want you to do it for them?
Don't do it for them. Is that what you
Yes.
said? I would say the trust factor, right? Because why can I not go to the banks myself and do it? You can, right? No one's stopping you for doing so. I hear that. I hear that. Well, I would say that's probably the only common one. The most what people say, like I can just do it myself. But I always tell them, like, yes, you can. Just like you going for a house. You can get your own house. You don't need a real estate agent, right? You can technically do it yourself. But guess what? You're gonna get the expertise, right? Obviously, they're gonna know a lot more than the average person to get the house
Mhm.
for you. Same thing goes for me. I know the banks. I won't say like the back of my hand, but I know a lot of stuff that even the bankers that I talk to don't know, right? And it's going to be easier because I'd rather apply with a bank relationship manager than apply online like the masses. Because guess what? Uh, Having a bank relationship manager, guess what I can do? I can request my limits. You can't do that online, right? It's whatever they want to give you, they will give you. Guess what? Having me and my relationship with the managers, we can request our limits 50,000, 70,000, $80,000 limits that we can request online. You're looking at max, what, 25, 35K, which is good. But do you rather have 75K or 35K? That's why I always hit them with.
And I mean, a professional doing it versus a novice doing it is key. I think that understanding the banking world is the best. I love what you said. I love what you said because we talk about BRMs all the time. And why don't you dive into what a BRM is for you? How have they changed your business?
So they changed my business. I would say probably tenfold. Because they tell me what good banks are not, excuse me, not good credit cards to apply for within their branch, or a business line of credit to apply for, or a loan, um, or SBA 7A loans, because every bank is not good for business. I'm gonna give you an example. Maybe Federal. Maybe Federal has a business side, But guess what they're known for? They're known for loans, mortgages, and credit cards on the personal side. So they're not good on the business side. So why go to those type of places to go get business, right? So I try to break it down for a lot of people so that they can understand not every bank that has a business side is good. So, and then having a relationship manager, I know all the ins and outs of what happening in the sector, right? Because things change every 6 months when it comes to banks. So something that at the beginning of the year works, excuse me, everything that works at the beginning of the year is not working now.
Hmm.
So something like Citizens Bank used to pull Equifax, they pull Experian now. So certain things change in the sector that you got to keep updated on. If you're still talking about 2024, that's old news. Things not working in 2025 that used to work in 2024. So that's a great thing having a relationship manager in your back pocket so you know all the ins and outs.
So you know I was going here. How does AI change your funding game?
So now that we have the score machine, uh, click the link in bio, right? So
Yep.
now that the score machine, it's taking all the guesswork out of everything I have to do. Anybody that's in the funding industry needs it and must have this score machine because all we have to do instead of getting their profile and looking and scanning through and taking forever to just to find out if they're fundable or not, it literally takes 10 seconds to find out the person is either fundable or needs credit repair. So guess what? I just click. All I have to do is click it. It's going to scan the report. It's going to say all the list of every, if it's green, green means good, red means not good. But everything, if it's more green than red, guess what? They're ready for funding. Now, look, it takes me maybe 2 minutes to look through now, and now we can just start going to funding. I love
So
change.
AI changed that. But do me a favor. Let's go back just a tad. You touched in a piece where you said in that explanation that said that you had to do it manually. How long did that take you when you had to do it manually?
It could take, I would say, 15 to 20 minutes looking through the credit report, them looking at you, you looking at them, you looking at the report, right? Because of what I do is I get them on a Zoom call
Uh-huh.
and go over it. So, be like, hey, you see this? Do you see that? Let me see about this. Do you have utilization issues on you might not have it on Experian, but you have it on the other two, things like that. It's just tedious. Now I don't need now that it's out out the window now. Now I can just go green, 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 green. Okay, the inquiries and we can get those off. Everything else good. Let's go for funding. Like, okay, it's more red than green. Hey, we need to go ahead and set up credit repair, or we need to go ahead and add positive items because you have a thin profile. So it takes the guesswork out of everything. AI makes my business easy.
So you said it took you about 15, 20 minutes to do it with a client. How many more meetings can you have a day by adding AI? Well, I know you've added because you signed up. How many more meetings can you have now a day? Because now you could read the credit report in 2 minutes.
Yep. I would say probably I can probably double my biddings if need be. I can double, hey, okay, we can spend 5 to 10 minutes, and then after that 5 to 10 minutes, we can just kind of just talk, right? We just hey, okay, this is what you need to do. This is how you need to do it. Did you write everything down? Or I can send everything to your email that breaks down everything. I can send it to your email. You can look at it yourself. So it's no more like, I don't know still what to do. No, I'm sending it to your email so you can look at it because it's everything. What is a soft pull? What is a hard pull? What is an inquiry? It I just never seen something so easy in my life. Hey, this is all your collections. This is your late payments. Easy, and you can see it.
I love it. I love it. I mean, that's what we built it for in the first place, but it's just it's taken on a different animal with people like you coming in and telling us
Hmm.
what we need and what we need to do. So I do appreciate you coming
Of
on
course.
board with the scoring machine and giving us
Yes,
things
yes.
that really I mean, helped out. Like, just advice in the sense of like, I don't do it like this, I do it like this. Can you switch it? Because it'd be a little bit better.
Uh-huh.
And that's been key for the community, because the community who's using us for funding and learning how to fund now is getting 100K funder behind them. Like,
Correct.
that's the best part about it. So I love that how you said that. It's so beautiful, because that's what we're doing. That's what we're trying to do, is trying to elevate people to that next level so that they can actually do what they need to do, like,
Uh-huh.
truthfully, and get them to that point where, hey, they maybe not be 100K funder this month, but in 12 months down the line, they may get to that
Uh-huh.
because they figured out that piece, like you said, where you're like, look, I posted it on social media and it went nuts.
Yeah,
And
and people, all they have to do is post, "Hey, who needs business funding?" on social media. You're probably, if you have a decent following, probably half of the people gonna need that's gonna say, "Hey, me." So why not start doing that? Put them in a score machine and start your business from there. It's not gonna be hard. You just need to know the fundamentals to get you to that point. Because and I'm
so
telling you, anybody can do funding. You just gotta know the fundamentals and the execution, and you can take off from there.
So what I want to do right now is, any social media links, anything that you have that you want to talk to people about, this is time to mention it. Let's get
Sure,
it.
sure.
Let's get people to get known with you.
Okay, so my Instagram is going to be Graves P09. That's on Instagram, and my TikTok name is going to be Paul Graves Mr. 100K.
Paul Graves, Mr. 100K, and
On
Graves
TikTok,
P09
on
on
this.
Instagram. Go look him up. Go show him some love, guys. Like, at the end of the day, let's get that there. You know, we're watching what's going on, and we're watching Paul grow. Paul's growing with us, and he's involved in the community, he's involved in all that stuff that we're doing as well. So he's somebody that's always going to be with us. We're going to have him on for more podcasts and things like that to explain and start unpacking some stuff. um but we want to get a base interview with everybody, and start to see what they're doing and talk to the community.
Okay.
um you know what, I don't think that there's much else that we have to talk about. I think we did a really good job here.
Awesome.
um why don't you do me a favor? Why don't you give some final words, give some motivational things that you
Um,
want to talk to the people.
Okay, okay. Listen, guys, pay attention. You need yourself a GPS. What is a GPS? You need yourself a mentor. You cannot get to the top of the mountain without a GPS. You cannot go from, I live in Ohio, I cannot get from Ohio to Arizona without a GPS. And that is what a mentor is going to teach you and guide you. It's going to teach you and guide you to get from 100, from maybe 50K months or 50K years to 50K a month, the 100K months, the $1 million years. So you got to invest in a mentor immediately to take you to the next level.
That's it. That's all you want to say. It's just about a man.
Hey,
It's that's it. Just about
that's
a
it. That's all.
that's that's
Hey,
that just about a mentor. That's it.
That's
Uh,
good. Hey, but I know you're gonna have me on again. But that's not that I want to make sure everybody sticks inside the head because they think they can do it on their own. I try to do it on my own until I found myself a mentor. Yes, I was still making six figures a year, but when I got myself a mentor, I will start making six figures a month. So that's how what a mentor can do. I want everyone to stick with that. And of course, my tagline, I see you guys at the top.
so one more question before we go.
Okay.
One more question. You said something right there that I loved. If you would have had that bank job, how much would you be making right now?
Anywhere probably between that was 5 years ago. So probably 100, 150, 50K for the year.
How much you making in a month now?
I'm making over 100K a month consistently. So it's kind of a blessing in disguise.
um, as Dre would say, you're working. The three P's.
Yes,
I'm in my purpose, doing my purpose, walking in my
my
purpose, or how I,
purpose.
and that's exactly what it is. Your bank job was never your purpose.
Never.
This is your purpose, is getting to where we're at now and what we're doing and how we're doing it. It's huge. it's huge to really think of. You know, when we go in a room and we command a room of 90, 100 people, and like people sit there and, I was watching your 3 to 5 day challenge, and, how many people were just in their notebooks and just scribbling, taking down notes because of all the knowledge that you guys are giving.
Yes.
And once you start walking in your purpose on purpose, it's crazy. It's
Hmm.
crazy.
My next stop is going to be either a million in a month or million in a year. Either one, I take it.
I mean, look, I'm with you on that million in a month. I'm forget about a million in a year. Million in a month it just rings pretty.
It does. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful
It
thing.
rings pretty, and
Hmm.
it conversations like this happen in small groups, guys. I want everybody to understand this. When we talk, Paul and I have conversations off the phone. Dre and I, Paul, Dre, I, and Cash have conversations off the phone, and our conversations are different than conversations that we have with other people. Our conversations are $1 million conversations. We don't talk about, who played the basketball game last night or whatever. I think we had that conversation once. We talk about marketing. We talk about goals. We talk about success. We talk about new business ventures like last night. Last night was a new business venture that we were talking about. But we talk about things that inherently make money.
Uh-huh.
So to when you start talking about that and you start unpacking, when you surround yourself with 5 people who are the same way,
Uh-huh.
$1 million is easy. And it's only $1 million.
Look at that. Only.
It's
Oh man,
only $1 million. And
that's
you
crazy
know,
to think.
when it becomes only $1 million, it's gonna be only 10 million. It's gonna be only 100 million because
Oh
you start
man.
building to a point where it's crazy. Let me ask you a question. You said something to me before you left for Atlanta. What kind of car you drive? I love this.
So I drive a Range Rover. I was gonna hope to talk about this maybe next time I come up on how I did it, and things like that, and
We don't gotta
funding
talk.
funding
I wasn't gonna.
strategies and stuff. But I drive a
I
Range
wasn't
Rover.
gonna. I wasn't gonna talk about that. What I want to
Okay.
talk about is 5 years ago when you were going for that bank job. What were you driving?
I was driving a Chevy Impala.
Okay,
Uh, whatever year that was in, I drove that year, whatever 5 years ago.
5 years ago you were driving a Chevy Impala. 5 years later, you're driving a Range Rover. 5 years ago, you were working at 100K. You were working at 100K a year job. 5 years, 5 years later, you're making 100K plus a month.
Month.
A just to and this is what I truly want to end on is you locked in and you changed your whole situation.
My life
So
changed. It seemed, Pubs, people always seem like, oh, your life changed overnight. No, blood, sweat, and a lot of tears, guys. A lot of tears, to get to this point. So it can definitely happen for anybody.
so as he said on his closing words, a mentor, a mentor, a mentor. Get yourself a mentor. Get locked in on this Instagram and TikTok, and get locked in with us on the smart and the score machine. And we'll see you guys in the next video that we do. All right,
All right.
everybody.
See you
Have a
guys.
great day. See you in the next one. Oh, and don't forget to like and subscribe.